Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Existing law makes the theft, buying, or receiving stolen property under the value of $950 a misdemeanor. This monetary threshold also applies to firearms. Many firearms, including semi-automatic handguns, shotguns, and assault-type rifles, have a retail value of under $950. AB 1176 will fix this problem by making the theft of any stolen firearm a felony and the buying or receiving of a stolen firearm a wobbler. AB 1176 requires this issue be placed on the November 2016 ballot to let the voters decide. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Speakers in support of the bill.
John Lovell on behalf of the Association for Los Angeles County Deputy Sheriffs, the California Association of Code Enforcement Officers, California College and University Police Chiefs Association, the California Narcotic Officers Association, Los Angeles County Professional Peace Officers Association, Los Angeles Police Protective League, and the Riverside Sheriff's Association, all in support of this important cleanup measure.
Madam Chair and members, Corey Salzillo here on behalf of the California State Sheriff's Association. We've been working on this effort for some time, in fact, since the passage of Prop 47, regardless of whether it was a drafting error or an intentional change. I hope we can all agree that stealing a firearm is a significant enough activity that it warrants a prison felony sentence. We've been talking about stealing guns and how guns become available and the use of guns in crimes. And again, the theft of firearms is an exceedingly dangerous activity. People don't steal guns to simply display them on the wall or to add to their collection. They steal guns to commit other crimes. So for those reasons, we'd respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Others in support?
Amanda Wilcox on behalf of the California chapters of the Brady Campaign in support. I've also been authorized to express the support of the Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence. They could not be here today.
Thank you.
Good morning, Sean Rundle with the California Peace Officers Association in support.
Madam Chair, members, Roy Griffith on behalf of the California Rifle and Pistol Association. We strongly support any legislation that makes things harder on criminals, not law-abiding citizens. Thank you.
Madam Chair and members, Dan Reed with National Rifle Association, and we're in support of this as it goes after the criminals. Thank you.
Thank you. Others in support? Speakers in opposition to the bill?
Madam Chair and members.
Have two speakers in opposition, if you're here.
Madam Chair and members, Assemblyman Cooper and Mr. Pro Tem. Khalif Osagai with the California Public Defenders Association in respectful opposition to this measure. On November 4th, 2014, in a statewide general election, the voters passed Proposition 47. Specifically, they were told in the official voter information guide that stealing a handgun valued at less than $950 would no longer be a felony. We believe this was intentional, not a drafting error, and that given that this measure was recently passed, that this bill is not warranted at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members, Dennis Cuevas Romero with the Hernandez Strategy Group here on behalf of the California Attorneys for Criminal Justice in regretful opposition. The CACJ believes that there's current law sufficient, that prosecutors have adequate avenues for felony prosecution. For example, possessing a concealed stolen firearm, theft of a firearm from a dwelling, closed door, locked car. As the analysis points out, for those reasons, we're in opposition.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, members of the committee, Craig DeLuz with Firearms Policy Coalition. While we object to the process, we do not object to the measure. We just want to express our concerns, though, regarding the proliferation of nonviolent misdemeanors that are being classified as prohibited offenses.
Thank you. Seeing and hearing no other opposition, Senator Leno.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I will not be able to support the bill today, but I want to explain why I won't be able to. It has nothing to do with the purported, for the sincere premise of the bill, which is that stealing a firearm is a serious offense, and as was already mentioned, can and will be prosecuted as a felony, but that Prop 47 made no error in this, and that the voters have spoken on this. I checked with San Francisco's district attorney, who is a former police chief of Mesa, Arizona, a former police chief of San Francisco, a former deputy police chief of Los Angeles, and now the elected district attorney of San Francisco. So a man very familiar with what can and cannot be prosecuted as a felony. And when I asked him about this, he gave me the following quote, which he also said I could share with the committee as his words. He says, "There is no plausible scenario wherein a felony cannot be charged for the theft of a firearm. This bill is not a solution to a real problem." So then I asked him, can you give me an implausible scenario of where the theft of a firearm could only be charged as a misdemeanor? So this is his example of an implausible scenario. And I wanted to ask if the California Attorneys for Criminal Justice, who are just up here, could come back, if that's okay with you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify for us, if I heard him correctly, that there are already multiple avenues. I'll wait for you to get up.
You can sit down.
If I heard you correctly, you said there were already adequate avenues for prosecuting a stolen firearm as a felony, and you had mentioned you'd have to break into some place, you'd have to conceal it without a concealed weapon, so I just want to give you this implausible scenario, and then I would ask you or anyone at the table, any of the proponents, to give me another plausible scenario where a theft of a firearm could be charged as a misdemeanor. So this is from District Attorney George Gascon. He says, an individual would have to enter a store when it was open and take an unloaded firearm without anyone noticing or confronting the thief. That thief would then have to transport the gun, unconcealed, out of the store and down the street without using a vehicle. That would be a situation, you think, where it could be charged as a misdemeanor.
Madam Chair, Senator, we appreciate the question. We put this to our legislative committee, and we have been trying to figure out an unplausible situation. I think that may be the situation where that is. And like you had mentioned, I do believe that there are plenty of avenues in existing law where felony prosecution can still occur.
So I appreciate your allowing me this opportunity, Madam Chair, because I think there's no debate among this committee that stealing a firearm is a serious offense and rises to the level of felony, and that there are multiple avenues. So what I think we really need to focus on here is, do we need to go to the voters to have them re-amend something they've already passed unless we have identified a real problem to solve?
I agree. I think that is a question that can be raised about this.
So if anyone's got a plausible scenario, I'd like to hear it.
I'm very happy to answer the senator's question. I took numerous reports on the street. You have to have intent when someone comes in a house, and the attorney will agree with this. So quite frequently, somebody's friends, a teenager's or an adult's friend, came over to their parents' house or somebody's house. They stole a firearm. You're a guest in the house, so you're allowed in the house. You steal that firearm. That's a misdemeanor. That's not a felony. You're allowed in that house. Number two, you walk in Walmart, you take a firearm. It was an impulse. You have to prove intent. Someone's in there, they take a firearm and walk out with that firearm. You can't prove the burglary. You have to prove the intent. It is shoplifting. It's a misdemeanor. Guns kill people, and what the real crux of the issue is, the majority of handguns out there cost less than $950. You can buy a lot of assault rifles for less than $950. Firearms do kill people. We know that. We've seen the firearm rate, especially people in the black and brown community with that. So you can talk to anybody in law enforcement, and if you were a former DA, I'm not sure what your background was as a defense attorney, but folks come in houses all the time and guests steal things, especially teenagers steal things. Took numerous reports where they actually stole firearms out of someone's house. That can't be charged as a felony whatsoever. Someone goes into Walmart and takes a handgun, and it was a spur-of-the-moment thing. There was no intent there. I wasn't going in to burglarize that, because you have to have the specific intent to go in there. So you go in and steal the firearm, it's going to be a misdemeanor. So I'm saying there are plenty of plausible reasons, so I'm not sure I mean, maybe some of these folks haven't taken police reports before, but we take reports on a daily basis where people steal things. So I'm not sure where it came from, but I would be in strong disagreement with that.
Could we ask if there's a response to that?
Yeah. Through the chair, do either of you?
Well, while we will agree with the Assembly member, when we've polled our members, we have been told that prosecutors up and down the state have additional avenues to prosecute these crimes. So, that's what we've been told from our members, and unfortunately for those reasons, that's where CACJ is.
Okay. Senator Leno, do you have any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from members of the committee? Or is there a motion on the bill? Thank you. Yeah, I think Senator Leno has asked some good questions, and in my reading of it, I think that Prop 47 did cover the bases. I don't think there's any harm in clarifying. I hope it isn't simply a way to try to re-argue a measure that was strongly passed by the voters and that still has strong voter approval. But the bill has been, would you like to close?
I would love to close,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, and I think this is important here. I know the gentleman just got up. There are plenty of avenues available. There are no avenues available for that. I mean, it's just for him for an individual to get up here and say there are avenues. We're talking about a firearm violation. What else do you charge with? There's nothing else to charge with. 18 months ago, I was in law enforcement. So I'm only 18 months removed. There is no other charge to charge with. And as an attorney, I would argue the attorney vehemently that he is incorrect on that. There's no other venue to do that. And even if someone goes in to Walmart and steals a handgun from Walmart and it's under $950, that's going to be a misdemeanor. You can't charge a felony with that. They're going to charge the misdemeanor shoplifting. They're not going to charge a felony with that under the current code, the way the code is written. So, like I said, I respect him as an attorney. I know he's been in law school, but to get up here and tell me what specific charge they can charge with. Right now, the district attorneys are not charging with that in any of the counties. It is not happening because of the way the law is written. So that's the impetus for us to come up here and try to get a change. Isn't it back to the voters? You're right, absolutely. The voters voted for this. But to take it back to the voters and actually clarify this. So I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Senator Leno?
We can have conversation after the author closes, correct?
I don't think we can, actually.
You can. You noted the motion, but you haven't recognized the motion yet. The discussion can continue until you recognize the motion.
Okay, I've been informed that the discussion can continue until we recognize the motion. To be quite frank, I thought that asking the author to close was recognizing the motion, but
Okay.
this is an important issue.
Thank you.
I'm gonna-
So if there are, as I think has just been suggested, a rash of thefts from Walmart and other such stores of firearms that have been charged as misdemeanors, not as felonies, since the passage of Prop 47, I'd be very curious to know that. But I'm just trying to imagine, and I'm not an attorney, so I put that out there forthrightly, and I'm on dangerous territory even debating with attorneys. But with that said, someone would have to walk into a Walmart without the intent of stealing a firearm, but stealing a firearm, and then get out of the store without concealing it, because if they concealed it, that would be a felony. And then they would walk out of the store, and since they never intended to steal it, there's no getaway car, and they just casually walk down the street. I just think, with a gun, not concealed, I just think it is so implausible. This is not in the real world. And with regard to an innocent youth who just lifts a firearm from someone's home without intent to cause trouble, I'm not so certain I want that innocent youth to be charged with a felony. Certainly, a misdemeanor conviction is no small deal, can send that youth to incarceration for a year, but that's not the point. These scenarios, I just don't think occur in the real world, and I'd like to see this rash of conviction, of charges of misdemeanors, and I'm open to that, and I know I'm on dangerous territory. If Mr. Lovell has a long list to show me now, I'll be very embarrassed, but I just haven't seen it.
Let me just say that stealing guns from residences is still a felony. It was not addressed by Prop 47. One of the reasons why it seems that this bill may not be needed. And sending it to the ballot could be simply a way of re-arguing instead of understanding what the voters wanted to do in Prop 47. However, to my mind, clarifying doesn't hurt anything. We're just individuals who, in the legislature, who supported Prop 47, may have to be alert for a demagogic campaign that tries to scare the voters into not passing any more initiatives that would rationalize our sentencing system. That's the chance that we take. So I appreciate Senator Leno's point of view, and I think this is just one where we need to move forward at this point. Do you want to add anything more, Assembly Member? Because
Thank you, Madam Chair.
we're entitled to close.
In response to your question, if someone steals that gun, if it's less than $950, it's a misdemeanor. In that house, what you just said, if they steal that gun and it's less than $950, which most handguns are, it is a misdemeanor, not a felony. It's a burglary. You can't prove burglary with intent. And like I said, there are a lot of folks up here, and I have a great deal of respect, but where it really happens at, it's just not is how it's done. And you have to prove criminal intent on that.
Okay. Yes, I think I better recognize the motion. This could go on. This could go on, and will go on, I think, on into November. So, please call the roll.
Hancock.
Aye.
Hancock, aye. Anderson.
Aye.
Anderson, aye. Glazer. Glazer, aye. Leno.
Nope.
Leno, no. Lou. Lou, aye. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Stone. Stone, aye.
Okay, that bill is out. It passes. We are looking for two other authors.
Santiago is here.
Oh, Santiago, Assemblymember Santiago is here. And this is a new bill that's before us. Welcome to the committee, Assemblymember.